That report from Hetty. Well, the saga over Bill Henson's photography isn't showing any signs of dying down. In fact, it's growing in intensity. It was Sydney police who sparked the controversy with their raid on the Henson exhibition last Friday, confiscating 20 photographs featuring a naked girl of 13. But police have now visited galleries in Victoria and regional New South Wales. And the Federal Police Commissioner has warned that photographs posted online could constitute a federal crime. Meanwhile, an increasingly angry art world is getting noisier in its condemnation of the police action and the reaction of politicians, particularly the Prime Minister. More than 40 petitioners from the arts community, a number of whom, including actress Cate Blanchett, attended Mr Rudd's 2020 summit, have signed an open letter calling on the PM and other politicians to rethink their comments. After 3 decades of exhibitions, why is one of Australia's most celebrated living artists suddenly receiving such unwelcome attention? Sharon O'Neill reports.
We could drive there, arrive there, be alive there.
I think that the period between childhood and adolescence, or, adolescence in itself is a really interesting period. It's a bridge between the world of childhood and the adult world. That thing of having one foot in the world of childhood and one foot in the adult world produces a certain uneasiness, a certain disposition which I find really interesting.
Bill Henson is considered one of Australia's leading contemporary artists. His signature photographs of adolescence have been exhibited in prominent art galleries around the world for the past 3 decades.
We've been collecting his work. I think I probably bought work in 85, might have been the first, but we showed him in 81. National Gallery did a survey of his in 78. So he's been in the public domain for a long time.
In artistic circles, these images have been considered controversial, but never before have they led to this. It was this image of a naked 13-year-old girl sent out as an invitation to the launch of Henson's exhibition at the Roslyn Oxley Gallery in Sydney that first alarmed some members of the public.
It's portraying children in a sexual context, which is what this is. I mean, it's clearly sexual. There's no question about that, and I think obviously that's the point of the art.
Hetty Johnston is the founder of Bravehearts, an organisation which supports the victims of child sexual assault.
We have to understand that 20% of the population have been sexually assaulted when they were children. There's a lot of people out there that are desperately hurt by this and incredibly angered by it. So, I mean, it's going to attract that kind of a reaction in the community, and I don't think anyone should be surprised.
I think he's quite devastated, actually, by the fact that some people, I'm glad to say actually the minority now looks really quite aggressive about the subject matter. None of them have seen the show, I might say. If they did, I think they probably would feel differently.
I beg to differ. I think at the end of the day, we're talking about images of 12 and 13-year-old children who are naked, and that is a breach of the Crimes Act.
After complaints were made to the New South Wales Police, 20 photographs were taken away, and the police announced they intended to lay charges against Bill Henson. Even the Prime Minister bought into the argument.
I find them absolutely revolting. Kids deserve to have the innocence of their childhood protected. I have a very deep view of this. And, for God's sake, let's just allow kids to be kids.
I think his was a purely in-the-moment gut reaction, but I think around him there's been comment and debate that does worry me, that I think we're entering an area where that artistic freedom is under threat.
Playwright Michael Gow today joined actor Cate Blanchett and other members of the arts community who attended the 2020 summit in publishing an open letter of support for Bill Henson. Michael Gow says the ethics of art is a worthwhile debate, but it shouldn't involve police intervention.
What a lot of us came away from the 2020 summit with is a sense of the value of the artist in society, the importance of open and free debate. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is an artist who brought this issue to the light, as it were, in great danger of being prosecuted under the law, as well as the people associated with him. And I think that would be, firstly, unjust, since he was the one who's brought it to our attention and has been doing it for quite some time. And secondly, I don't think it will at all help the debate that we clearly need to have. I think there needs to be some very serious and very calm discussion about what people see as the limits.
The police inquiry into Bill Henson's work has now extended into at least 2 other regional art galleries. But why, after so many years of similar work being on public display, is there now so much public disquiet?
We are having a debate about the sexualisation of children, so the timing means that this exhibition was going to be under scrutiny.
In Canberra this week, the Senate's Communications and Arts Committee is working on a draft report into the sexualisation of children in the media. Democrats leader Allison initiated the inquiry.
We had a report by the Australia Institute which talked about corporate paedophilia. We had the Minister just last week talk about the very high level now of children who are reported as being sexually abused. So I think it's in the forefront of people's minds. And when you have an environment which is already conducting a debate about this, then it was inevitable, I think, that this would be part of it.
Bill Henson has so far remained silent on the police intervention.
Well, he was pretty shaken after the opening. I don't think he expected it at all. I mean, he hasn't been out there, precisely he hasn't been out there trying to bring this on. I mean, he's not interested in debates about censorship or pornography, and he's interested in going for this poetic image, and I think he did it in this exhibition beautifully.
What worries me in terms of Bill Henson is this kind of legal exposure can be very damaging to an artist and to the people around him, and I would hate to think that he was forced underground and, I don't know, didn't work for some time because of the associated fallout of a possible court case.
A statement issued by Henson's gallery representative in Melbourne, Jan Minchin, said, "While we believe a vigorous public discussion on issues that matter in society is appropriate, we don't believe there is a role for the courts and the police with regard to Bill Henson's work."
Absolutely, we'd like to see charges laid and a prosecution. There needs to be. Either that or we need to change the law, because there's no point having a law if we're not going to prosecute it.
While Bill Henson may be shocked by the events of the past few days, in this 2001 documentary, he acknowledges the confronting nature of his art.
The work sort of divides people into supporters and detractors, if you like, at that level. Tends to leave very few people in the middle, I think.